Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today's video is going to be just kind of a what is the best and worst makeup that I've tried so far this year in 2024. We're at almost that halfway point of the year, so I thought it would be fun to just kind of recap on some of the things that really stand out to me as favorites and some things that maybe stand out as things I didn't end up loving. I have quite the pile in front of me. I'm excited to dive into it. I have things from most makeup categories here, and I'm just excited to share them with you. The favorites that are in this video are things you've heard me talk about time and time again, and this is just a way for me to round it up in one place. And then my pile of not favorites, least favorites, if you will. It's not the biggest pile, but they are definitely things that stand out to me as things that didn't work for me for XYZ reason. Maybe it's just not meant for me and my preferences, or maybe I just genuinely think it's bad. You're gonna hear it all, so let's get into it. But before we do, I did of course film this look. It should already be up on Instagram and YouTube Shorts by the time this video goes up. As far as my accessories today go, this is just an old basic choker, but these cutie little dinosaur earrings are from Spooky Doodle Club. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop in and chat about all of my favorite and least favorite makeup so far for 2024. So skipping primer, because I haven't really tried any new primers this year that I deem as like top favorites. So we're just gonna scoot right on into brows, because that is the next step that I do. I like to let my primer sink in and then do my brows, and then I go in with all of my other complexion products. This is a new favorite, but I am so beyond obsessed. It's the new Milk Makeup Tubing Brow Gel. This is so freaking good. It really kind of adheres to all the individual little hairs, kind of like how a tubing mascara works. It gives a lot of fluffiness, really good hold. It is like super glue for your brows. I'm actually not even using a brow pen today. All I have on is a brow gel, and I cleaned up with some concealer, and it is absolutely fantastic. I've been using the shade Grind, but I think any of like those medium to dark browns would work for me. This is just the first one that I grabbed in my PR package, but this is such a good brow gel. This is my new favorite brow gel of all time. I think this has completely dethroned the NYX Thick It Stick It. This has dethroned the NYX Brow Glue. This is just so good. I'm screaming it from the rooftops. Next, I have a couple foundations. First being the Salt New York. I believe this is called like the Sneaky Balm. As you can see, I've used a lot of it. I'm using the lightest shade. I'm wearing it today. I actually hadn't worn it in a few weeks, like probably 3 or 4 weeks at this point. And I wore it today and I was like, man, I'm glad I'm including it in this video because it really is just so beautiful. I like to use just like a dense foundation brush. It gives just the perfect like soft, light to medium coverage depending on how much you built it up. It is so beautiful and just soft looking on the skin. This never looks cakey on me. I'm so beyond obsessed. I'm absolutely gonna replace this when it runs out. I love this. And I feel like especially for travel, like what a perfect product to have on deck. Another foundation is the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating CC Cream. Now, there is a caveat to this, right? Like I do genuinely love this, but I do have to modify it a little bit. Like I typically take, like for instance, I've been using this one lately, the Undefined Beauty R&R Sun Elixir Glow Oil. I'll mix this with this, but only because my personal preferences, I don't love full coverage. It's just not for me. It's a little too much. It's a little too thick and heavy. I used to back in the day. Nowadays, I definitely like light coverage is my sweet spot. So I do personally feel the need to share this out, but I did still want to include it in this video just because this looks so beautiful on the skin. It has such a beautiful like dewy radiance without it being too slimy looking. And even though I'm still shearing this out to make it less coverage, I still think it is absolutely stunning. And if you're someone who likes full coverage and the dewy look, you'd probably love this on its own. But I felt like even though I do shear it out, I didn't think it was fair to not include this because it's still the product itself that looks good. Like I can't take a bad foundation and shear it out and it look good. You will see that in the other part of this video. But this one I still think is absolutely stunning. I use the shade Fair 120N. I think this is a really great foundation, even though I have to shear it out a little. I do really want to try e.l.f.'s new foundation. It's like the satin foundation or something that looks really appealing. I want to try it at some point. Let me know if you've tried it. Moving on to concealer, I only have one that really stands out to me, and it's also from Salt New York. It's the concealer right here. As you can see, I've used a ton of it. I do like the contour blush and highlights from the brand as well, but the foundation and concealer are definitely the stars of the show for me. I've been using this concealer the last, like, I don't know, week. I've used it so much ever since I got it back in April. Just great products. They're so good. This concealer in particular is a bit emollient, which for me, that means I have to set it, but I set all of my concealers anyways. Like, otherwise I would just be creasy. It's not an option, but I do love how emollient it is because I feel like it blends out just so nicely. I can use a sponge or a brush. It is just beautiful. Paired with other foundations, it's amazing. All by itself, it's amazing. Paired with the foundation from Salt New York, it's amazing. I'm just such a Salt New York stan now. Beautiful products. I just love that foundation and concealer specifically so incredibly much. Moving on to setting powder, I believe this one did not come out this year. Not necessarily everything in this video came out this year. It's just I tried it this year. And one of those is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Loose Setting Powder. I think some of it just dumped out of the side there. But this is my new favorite setting powder of all time. I use the shade Light. I think there's like a light pink one and a light neutral one. This is just like the neutral or translucent, whatever. This is such a good powder. By far my favorite loose setting powder I have ever tried. I've already gone through one of these. I have a backup already on deck for when I run out of this one. This is just so beautiful. It gives your skin just such a delicious luminosity without it looking highlighty. I feel like I can easily like set my under eyes and stuff without it looking shiny. It just doesn't make me look flat and cakey and matte. It just gives my skin a nice satiny finish. Like I feel like my skin just looks so good ever since I started using this powder. It is incredible. I literally cannot live without it. It's so good. I recently tried using a different setting powder, which was fine. It wasn't making me mad, but this one's just too good to not have. And the fact that it's e.l.f. and it's so affordable, that makes me so happy. As far as bronzer goes, I have one of the NYX Buttermelt bronzers, and these are incredible. Again, I don't know if these came out this year or last year, but I only just started using this about a month ago, and it is incredible. The one I have is in the shade All Butted Up. I'll swatch some things here and there now that we got through the complexion stuff, but it is just beautiful. Using it as my bronzer today. I've been using it as my bronzer pretty much every single day since I got it. I just love that sheen that it has. Such a beautiful glow. This is quite pigmented, so a little goes a long way, and I feel like this blends onto the skin just so buttery beautiful. Like Buttermelt was the perfect name for this line. Just so good. This is my new favorite bronzer. Ooh, I don't know if it's my #1 favorite because the Sigma Light Bronzer and the Fenty Into Sun are very great for powders, but I don't have any others that are like sheeny like this, where they have that glow. So this is my new favorite glowy powder bronzer. Moving on to blush, I have a lot of blush. I actually had to try really hard to narrow this down because I was about to talk about every single blush I've tried this year, and I was like, that's ridiculous. I need to actually edit it down, talk about the top favorites. So I ended up narrowing it down to 2 liquid cream formulas, 2 powders, and then I also have some palettes. So I have a lot of blush to talk about. For liquid, I just had to give it to the like cheek flushes from Glaminatrix. These are just so good. There's like makeup all over this. These are so used. I think there's like 5 or 6 shades and I love all of them. I just grabbed 2 for the sake of this video. But they have just like the nicest liquidy formula. They blend beautifully onto the cheeks. This is the shade Gentle. This one's probably my most used just because it's such an easy peasy kind of color. But Lavish is probably my second favorite. Just like a yummy terracotta sort of orange. These are so good. They have so much pigmentation, so just a couple dots and then blend it with your sponge or a brush if you prefer that. These go a long way. These are such a delicious formula. Like, dare I say my favorite thing Glaminatrix has ever done. I just love these so much. And then for creams, I literally cannot get enough of these Lawless cream blushes. These are so, so beautiful. There's 6 shades, I believe. I have 2 here. This one's the shade Valentine, and it's just such a good cutie pink. These are so like beautiful. They have great pigmentation. They build up deliciously. They blend out so soft. These even like cooperate with powders really nicely, which can be very rare with creams. But these seem to be beautiful. And then I have this other shade here, Rosebud, which is probably my most used. I have this on today with a powder on top of it, but it's just so good. These are so creamy and delicious. I love Lawless, and these are definitely one of my top favorite things from the brand. Need a little energy drink break. So good. Sometimes you just have to put your energy drink in a cute cup and it just feels extra fun. Moving on to powders, I guess I'll talk about what I'm wearing today on top of that cream blush, but the new Rare Beauty Luminous Powder Blushes are so good. Now, you absolutely have to love a glowy cheek in order to like these. These are very glowy, borderline highlighty. If I ever wanted to, I could just go in with this all over my cheeks and I wouldn't even feel like I had to have highlighter. Do I still add highlighter? Yes, because I love the glow and sparkle. But these like give you so much glow that if you wanted just a one-stop shop, like blush highlighter hybrid, that would be these. Again, there's like 6 or so shades. I just grabbed 2. This is the shade Hope. This is probably my most worn. This is the one I have on top of that Lawless cream blush. And I feel like these with those cream blushes are a match made in heaven. Just so beautiful, so glowy and shiny, as you can see. I feel like these are beautiful on their own, but I particularly do love them as a blush topper, especially because then it gives me like a really fun excuse. This is the shade Cheer right here. It gives me a really fun excuse to kind of double up on like creams and powders, and I can use multiple things at the same time. I also have to shout out the Buttermelt blushes from NYX. I only picked up a couple of these recently. This one's probably my favorite. They have like matte and glowy ones. According to the website, I only bought glowy ones, but this one's my favorite in the shade Feelin' Butta. Just like the most gorgeous glowy terracotta. Put it over here next to the bronzer. Just beautiful, yummy, so pigmented, so blendable. I don't remember the other shades I have off the top of my head. I have like a corally one and then like a soft pale pink one. I kind of want more. Super want more actually, but I'm like, I have so much blush, I really don't need more, but this is just such an incredible formula. So if you're interested in those, I highly recommend them. I haven't tried the matte ones, only the glowy ones, and the glowy ones are Betty Jean approved. How long has there been powder on my shirt? Are you kidding me? We have got to talk about the Blend Bunny and Ellis Atlantis blush palettes. These are so good. The first one is Solar Flare. It is so super pretty. This is gorgeous. I'll just swatch like the bright orange one in the middle. Plop that down right here. These are so poppin' and pigmented. I love how there's the gradient of like the pale peach to the bright orange to the like orangey red. It's just so fun and fiery. Like this is gonna be in my summer favorites, mark my words. And then we have the Lunar Eclipse. I just love this. I love the soft pinks. These are just so pigmented and so beautiful. I love how just polar opposite these two palettes are, but I love how there's that gradient of light to dark. These are just such good blush palettes. I cannot get enough. Moving on to highlighters, I have, well, I do have one palette that's kind of like a blush highlighter hybrid. I have a full-on highlighter palette, a single highlighter, and I have an eyeshadow palette that I kind of use as highlighter. So we have 4 different things here. Let's do the blush highlighter hybrid first. The Amy Loves Makeup and Adept collab is just so good. And this blush palette is incredible. We have 2 blushes and 2 highlighters. Let's see, let's swatch like these 2. They're just so pretty. The pigment on them is so good. Like it's so shiny. Oh, I just love them. Amy did such a good job with this collection. I also have the Celestial Lights palette from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is just so freaking cute. Let's swatch the middle one. They're just, oh my gosh, so glowy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you see that? It's like so wet looking, so shiny, so incredibly beautiful. Fantasy Cosmetica did great things with this palette. I also have the individual highlighter. This is also from the Blend Bunny and Ellis Atlantis collab. This is Celestial. They call it a cheek glaze, so I feel like this could also be kind of like a blush toppery, highlighty hybrid. But look at that, it's so beautiful. It really kind of is like a blush highlighter hybrid. I feel like leaning more on the highlighter side in my opinion, but definitely can melt in with that blush so beautifully. It's like wet diamonds, it's so good. And then to transition into eyeshadow palettes, I figured I would kind of talk about this one in the in-between category because not only is this a beautiful like iridescent, delicious eyeshadow situation you could do all over your lid, inner corners. I also use this a lot as face highlighter. I'm actually using it today. Going forward for all of these eyeshadow palettes, I'll just insert the B-roll swatch clips that I've already been filming this whole year. So you can see all of these eyeshadow palettes laid out, but I'm wearing the yellow one right here in the middle as my face highlight today, and it's just so cute. It just has the prettiest sparkle. I feel like it melts in with my blush so nicely. I love this little guy. I'm gonna use this all the time, whether it be for like accenting little bits on my eyes or highlighting my face. It is just so pretty. It has such beautiful shifts. Moving on now to official actual eyeshadow palettes. I narrowed it down to 10. These are in no specific order. I did do like a palette ranking during the first third of the year. So back in like, I don't know, end of April, I did like a ranking my palettes so far. So if you want to watch that to see that official ranking, you can. And then I've since, I think, done an individual like ranking my last 10, 11, 12 palettes, something like that. So some of these were in that big ranking, some were in more recent rankings, but overall, I think these are my current like top 10-ish are just ones that really stand out to me. I didn't want to like do a full-on like ranking or anything. I just wanted to kind of shout things out for this favorites video, if that makes sense. So again, in no particular order, I'm just going to run through these. The Lethal and Avatar collection is so good, so amazing. That entire collection is amazing, but the Earth palette specifically stands out to me the most. Just look how beautiful. I love these colors, love these formulas. This is the best Lethal has ever done. I cannot get enough of these formulas. The shimmers are so shifty on the lids. The mattes are buttery. I just love this color story with my whole heart. This is definitely one that I knew I wanted to include in this like best of so far video because it's just incredible. The actual palette from the Amy Loves Makeup and Adept collection is just so good. Like this packaging's amazing and the insides are gorgeous. I love cool tones, and I just think this is so pretty. It's so elegant and whimsical, but it's also like kind of grungy with the different tones of these mattes. I love how shifty all the shimmers are. This is such a beautiful palette. I've had so much fun with it. This one makes me so happy. This is the Strawberry Moon by Ensley Reign. They did launch this palette like, I don't know, a year or two ago. I never had the original, but they recently revamped it this year, switched out some shades, stuff like that. Again, I don't have the original, so I can't do comparisons, but I'm pretty sure they shared their comparisons on their Instagram if you're curious. But it is so good. It is just a summer colorful explosion. I love all these splashes of color. This is so much fun. The formulas in here are incredible. I think the mattes blend out so nicely and the shimmers are so gorgeous. This is such a fun palette. Also from Ensley Reign, the Cosmic Dreamer really stood out to me. I just think this is so gorgeous. Look at these colors. This is giving like grungy summer to me. It's so cute. I love all these different tones. So many fun things happening. Again, the formulas are beautiful. The shimmers are so striking on the lids. This is such a top tier palette. From Nomad, the Ireland palette is just so cute. I love all these different greens. I love the pops of blue, the golden rusty oranges. This is such a gorgeous palette. Definitely one of my favorite palettes Nomad has ever done. I think this is so good. I know Nomad like teased that they're launching something soonish. I don't have it at this moment of filming it, and even if I did, I couldn't show you because it won't have been revealed by the time this video goes up, but I'm very curious to see what their next launch is. And like, is it gonna like take this one's place? Is this one gonna remain top for the year? Who's to say, but this is just so unbelievably gorgeous. I find Nomad's formula is just so beautiful to work with. The mattes are so blendable, and the shimmers, especially in that palette, are just really metallic and delicious. Next up from Fantasy Cosmetica, the Wizard palette. This launched alongside of that Celestial Lights highlight palette, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it's hard to keep it all straight, but I love this. This is so pretty. I love blue and yellow together, and this is just such a beautiful combination. I love that it's like the pale banana yellows with all these different blues. We have so much rich depth. We have the paler pops of blue. We have a really pretty hollow shade. This is such a fun palette. It makes me really happy. Their stuff just looks so gorgeous on the lids. I feel like they just keep getting better and better and better. They are one of my favorite brands, and I am so excited, especially because there's a second one from the brand I wanted to share in this video. This is their new Cradled in Ice palette. And again, I love me some cool tones. I love these different shimmers. They are so pretty. I feel like this palette looks kind of unassuming in the pans, but when you actually dive in and like play with it, it is so just beautiful. It is elegant, but also can be grungified. It's just so pretty. Definitely like cool tone grungy glam for me with little pops of color. And finally, I have a few things from Beaute Bar because I could not narrow it down past 3 of them. One being the Ultraviolet palette. This is in collaboration with Deandra Nicole. This is just so freaking beautiful. I love it so much. Like, what a great take on a monochromatic purple palette. It's monochromatic, but it's not flat, it's not boring, it has depth, it has tonal differences. This is what I'm looking for when it comes to monochrome. Like, give me purple, but give me different tones of purple. Give me different levels of depth. The shimmers in here are incredible. Beaute Bar is also one of my favorite brands. And I'm just so impressed with this. Deandra is such a wonderful human. I love following her work. She takes the most beautiful swatch pictures, and I'm so happy she got to have this collab because she did the damn thing. It is so good. The Dead Roses palette. This one makes me so happy. This was like their take on like an anti-Valentine sort of release, and it's so cute. It's supposed to be kind of a sister palette to the Ultraviolet as well because it adds a couple differences with these purples, but you also get all these extra like pinks and reds. It is so gorgeous. I love, love, love a pink, red, purple combination. It makes me so happy. And this is just stunning. I love how rich it is. It's deep, it's grungy. It's also playful and fun and vibrant. And the shimmers are just so shifty and beautiful. This is such a fun one. And then probably my favorite from this brand for the year is gotta go to the Secret Garden so far. Who's to say what they'll come out with in the future, but this one is just to die for. It is so pretty. I love like a fun like garden aesthetic, and this is just so good. I love all these leafy greens, the pops of like tealy turquoise, the pinks. It is just so fun and playful. This is such a cutie and I love it so, so much. That says it all for palettes. I guess we'll just move on now to some lip products. So I have a variety. I have lip pencils, I have lipsticks, I have lip oils, lip glosses, liquid lipsticks. I have a whole slew of things. So we're just gonna categorize it. First being lip pencils. Freck came out with lip liner pencils and these are so freaking good. My only complaint is I want more shades of them. These are all very warm. And I would love to see them expand this with some cooler toned lip pencils. I think that would be great, like a really like nice taupe, a dark cool tone brown, stuff like that. But these are so good. I wear them all the time. They stay put so well. They blend onto the lips nicely if you want to kind of like blend it out a little bit before you apply your lip product. These are such a good pencil. Here's kind of all the shades up close, and I'll just like swatch one just so you can see the creaminess. We'll do this one right here. This is shade number 6. We'll just do a little whoop. It is just so creamy good. I love these pencils. They have been like go-tos for me ever since they launched a few months ago. Lip oils. Milk Makeup came out with these Kush lip oils earlier in the spring, I believe. And I do stand by that you do not need more than one shade. I did like lip swatch videos on Instagram and YouTube Shorts, and they all basically look clear. There is the tiniest, sheerest amount of tint in these. The main difference between all, I think there's 6 of them, is the scent. The scents are really fun. These are my 2 favorites. We have the Pink Magic and Orange Crush. They just smell like yummy, fruity candies, and they're so good. Oh, so, so good. That one smells like watermelon candy, but it's right there. Basically looks clear. If there's any pink, it's like a LaCroix amount of pink. It's not anything crazy. And the Orange Crush one, oh my gosh, it smells like a creamsicle. It is so good. But there it is next to it. You can like barely tell a difference. Like there's a slight shift, but on the lips, they just look sheer and yummy. But these are really nice. They do sink into the lips beautifully. I think they hydrate really well. They give a nice shine. They're cute. I just don't think you need more than one. Like if you're interested in these, pick your favorite scent, go based on that, not really the color, because they all basically look the same. I have some glosses, first being this one from Patrick Ta. This has been out for a long time, but I only just picked it up this year during the Sephora sale because I've been thinking about it for years and I finally did it. So it's in the shade She's Expensive and she is beautiful. I'm like mad at myself that I didn't buy this sooner because it is just so good. It's sheer, sparkly, slightly champagne-y. I love like a sparkly sheer gloss. It is my favorite thing in the world, honestly. Let's put a little on right now. Oh, it's just so good. And this is such a slippy, comfy formula. It's just so shiny and so pretty. I love this. It's one of my favorite things of the year. Also, some of my favorite glosses for the year are the NYX Butter Gloss Blings. I am obsessed with these. I picked up one and then I picked up 2 more, and I actually placed another Ulta order recently just because I needed some restocks, and I may have thrown a 4th one into my bag. I want to eventually collect these all, and these are very affordable, so it will happen with time. My favorite one is Bring the Bling. These are just so pretty. Again, they're very like slippy and comfy, but they're so sparkly and gorgeous. I cannot get enough. These are so pretty. I also have this shade here. She's Got Money. She is adorable. She has the prettiest like pinky sparkly shift. Look how pretty these are. I can't believe I didn't know about these. I have no clue when these came out. I just happened upon them one day when I was shopping around and I was like, wait a minute, what are these? I used to use the original butter glosses a long time ago, like years and years and years ago. I did not know the sparkly version existed. This last shade is called Hustler. So pretty, like those pinky purple sparkles in it. These are just unreal. I love them. Like these are also like one of my favorite things of the year so far. I feel like NYX is just popping off for me this year. Between like their bronzer, their blush, these glosses, I'm like re-obsessed with NYX. They've been a brand I've used like here and there for years and years, but something about right now, they are in a good moment for me. I talked about the Freck lip pencils earlier. Well, I also have some of the lipsticks. I don't know when these lipsticks came out. I don't know if they came out alongside of the pencils or if these came out first, but these are the Makeout Club lipsticks. I grabbed 2 shades here. I think I own 3 of them. They look like this. They're kind of in this like crayon-y sort of format. So this one is Shy Hottie. This is probably my most worn. Just like a nice kind of warmer neutral. I love pairing this one with a dark lip liner. It's so pretty. And then this one is the shade The Moment. It's a really cutie pink right there. So good. Oh, I do have the third one here. I thought I only grabbed 2 of them. I'll swatch the third one. Why not? I kind of want to get more of these as well because they're just really nice. They're kind of like a soft blur sort of texture. Like they're matte on the lips, but you could also kind of blur them out. They're just really pretty. So this one's the shade Legend. That nice like plummy shade, plummy brown. So, so good. And then last favorite is the Likely Makeup liquid lipsticks. I ordered like 3 of the shades, 3 or 4 of the shades, and the brand ended up sending me the other ones that I didn't order. It was super sweet. And these are probably my top 3 favorite out of the, I think there's 7. These are such a good liquid lipstick formula. They go on like a regular liquid lipstick, but you could kind of blot them out and blur them out if you want to. I've had people ask me to compare these to the Kaleidos lip clays, and I've tried to respond directly to comments who ask me about it. These are so different. These don't have that powdery texture that the Kaleidos ones do, because the Kaleidos ones go on like kind of liquidy, but they dry down feeling like a powder. These ones still feel like a lipstick, but depending on how much you use, you could blur it out so it feels very like lightly blurred sort of vibe, or you could do a full opaque layer, but these are very comfy. These are not dry your lips out, Sahara Desert. This first one is the shade Cup of Tea. These are just so good. Such a beautiful formula. I am obsessed. This shade is Antique Shop. The names of all of these are just precious, but I love a brown lip. I will die on the hill that everyone looks good in a brown lip. Just try it out if you're scared. And then this one is Warm Bed. This beautiful, yummy, grungy orange. Oh my gosh, Be Still My Heart. So pretty. So many good lip products are like top tier favorites this year. I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna clean this hand off and then we'll get into the not so favorites. So again, I don't have that many things, but these things do technically stand out as things that didn't work out for me for whatever reason. We'll just continue going in the order that I do my makeup. So foundation. It Cosmetics sent me this foundation and I knew going into it, it probably wasn't gonna be for me, but curiosity got the best of me. I was like, maybe I like a full coverage matte foundation now. Maybe my preferences have changed and I just don't think I like it. No, I don't like it. This is the Natural Matte Your Skin But Better CC. Again, full coverage. It is matte. It is matte. It is full coverage. It is a lot. It is the complete opposite of what I desire in a foundation. And even shearing it out with like a moisturizer or a glowy product, it just causes it to not sit right. It actually looks better on me by itself than trying to shear it out and mix it with stuff. It's just not meant for that. You know, it is meant to be what it is. And that's just not my preference. I don't think it's a bad foundation, but it is not for me. Definitely not what I want in a foundation. Moving on to setting powder, I have this weird one from Flower Beauty. It's the Jet Set Setting Powder Spray. It's literally in like a spray paint can almost. And you like, oh, I'm so scared. You like do that to like set your face with. And like, it does feel powdery, but I don't know. This is just weird to use. I don't think it's horrible. I do feel like in order to actually properly set my face, I have to kind of spray a lot, and then it just, I don't know, feels a little unnecessary. I don't know how I would be able to like set like the creases under my eyes precisely with this. This is just not for me. Maybe if you're someone who just like, you are on the go with your makeup all the time, you're just kind of slapping stuff on, this would spray your face down really quick. Maybe it would be for you. This just isn't for me. Not my makeup preferences, not my makeup, not even style, just not my tool of choice for a setting powder. Not my vibe. I have a couple like blushy, highlightery sticks. First being the disappearing blush stick. If you saw my reel and YouTube shorts from like, I don't know, months ago, this Pixie On The Glow blush stick, it's a pH tinted stick, so it kind of meshes with your pH to create the shade that it is. Mine's also like falling out of the tube. But this like disappears on me. Like I'll even try to show you on camera. So like I put some here on my hand, right? And like it looks pink. It's kind of cute, like it's fine. It's really sheer, but it has a nice glow. But I swear like over time, like within a couple minutes, it like disappears on me completely. Like especially if I try to blend it out, like I'm just trying to blend the edges. like I would like a regular blush. It just like, I don't know, it just ends up turning into virtually nothing on my face. It was just not for me. I honestly don't see how this could be for anybody. And I've tried other On The Glow blush sticks from Pixi in the past, and they're really, really beautiful. I like the glowy formula, but this is just not really it. Really sheer, and then it ultimately ends up like kind of disappearing on me. I also got these sticks from Ilia earlier this year. They sent them to me, and while they're not bad, they're just kind of not impressive. They're all multi-sticks, but they have different uses. So like this one's more of a blush, or like I guess could be on your lips as well. But this one's in the shade Ladybird. And like, I don't know, I found the formula to be kind of tuggy. I feel like it's not super creamy. It's a little hard to blend. And then when it is blended out, it just looks a little too sheer for my preferences. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst thing I've ever tried, but it just didn't impress me. And then I have this multi-stick in the shade Cosmic Dancer, which would obviously be like a highlight. Again, it's just, I don't know, kind of hard to blend out, a little tuggy. Doesn't look my favorite on my skin. It's not for me. It's a little too subtle, a little too tuggy of a formula. Moving on to eyes, I only have one eyeshadow palette so far for this year that like overall I can just genuinely say I don't like that. Like obviously with my whole ranking for the year, there's gonna be things closer to the bottom for whatever reason. Maybe like it's just not my favorite color story, or size-wise it wasn't my favorite. Other things I just simply liked more, but this one specifically is in last place for a reason. I just genuinely didn't love playing with it. It's the Dream Gaze palette from Alter Ego, and I'll still like include the swatches of the B-roll for this palette as well. It's okay. This is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Pastel palette, and for one, like there's these cream matte formulas at the bottom, which I've said before and I'll say again, not my favorite. They just never get as pigmented as they look in the pan. And then even the other pastel regular mattes, even though I typically like their normal matte formula, these are just really, really, really sheer. I feel like even for pastels, like pastels are meant to be lighter, they're meant to be pastel, but there can still be more punch to it while it still remains pastel. These are just so dusty sheer on my eyes, and I'm as pale as a ghost, and these are just so touch of color for me. Not really what I want out of pastels. A little sheer for their typical formula. The shimmers in here are really pretty, but overall this is just one I can genuinely say I don't really like it. It just wasn't my favorite to use. There's better pastel palettes out there. On the topic of eyes, I got sent this Super Fan mascara from Smashbox maybe about a month ago, and I think I just ultimately decided I don't like this. It looks like this wand. It, for one, does not like hold a curl in my lashes or really do much for them. My lashes are very straight and short, stubborn. They don't hold a curl. I wear false lashes most of the time because of that. It takes a very special like waterproof mascara to like make my lashes look halfway decent on their own. This one, I feel like not only did my lashes immediately just droop back down, I feel like this makes them look really clumpy. It's very not cute. Like it's hard to even put this on and then put false lashes on top of it without really like trying to get the clumps out of my lashes first. This one's just a little too much work, and like it's not that big of a deal. It just ended up not being my favorite mascara. Probably one of my more least favorite ones that I've tried recently. It was very black, and it didn't seem to smudge all over my skin or anything throughout the day where it would like melt down here, but I just did not like the application of it. It's a little chunky. I have some lip glosses. These are from the brand City Beauty. I got these on the Creators and Friends trip, and it's a shame because I love their moisturizer. I love their body balm. They have some really nice body stuff, but their glosses are not my favorite. These are supposed to be plumping glosses. I don't find these to be overly plumping personally. I'll just swatch one of them. We'll do the shade San Diego. Just covered over that highlighter a little bit because it's so subtle I barely noticed it, but it looks pretty. Like it looks fine, like even though it doesn't have a big plumping effect in my opinion, I feel like it still looks nice. My main problem is, I just don't like the smell. I don't like the smell at all. In a couple Roundup review videos ago, a couple months ago, I described this as nicely as I could, and I compared it to wet garbage. And you know, I stand by that. It's like you're walking past kind of a dingy dumpster that's not even full of trash. Like the trash might have gotten taken out and it's just that residue. Maybe it rained recently. That's what these smell like to me. But I have heard people say that they don't smell it that way. So maybe it's just a me thing. I don't know. I just know that I don't love the smell, and it's not worth it for me to keep using them. So yeah. And last but not least, probably my number one least favorite thing that I tried this year. I don't even have it anymore. I must have gotten rid of it promptly after talking about it in my last roundup review video. It's the Typology Lip Peel Treatment something or other. This is horrible. Again, I got that on the Creators and Friends trip in April, and I actually used it on like the second to last day. I just like quickly applied some to my lips. I was like, cool, sounds great. It was so horrible. My lips, they looked fine. Visually, my lips looked normal, but the texture of my lips, like the way it felt in my body for like 4 days after, it felt like my lips were crumbling off of my face. And then, after that sensation had gone away, I felt like my lips just felt regular. After all of that, my lips didn't even feel like baby smooth or anything. There was nothing new. I just went through a few days of crumbly lip feeling for nothing. I was so miserable. Like, I was vocally so miserable for a few days that like my friends Allie Dawson, Rachel Palmieri, Linda from Glitter Fallout, like they were all like, I don't want to try mine. So they all promptly disposed of theirs before they even had a chance to try theirs because I was so outwardly uncomfortable. It was such a bad experience. I can't believe I had to go through that. But I lived to tell the tale. And yeah, that rounds it up. That is my best and worst of 2024. So far, we're at the halfway point. We're gonna see what else happens in this year. So much can change. By the time I do like a full like best and worst at the end of the year, I might have totally different opinions. Some of these might not be in my favorites anymore. Some of these things might have gotten like outranked, especially with palettes. Like I'll probably at the end of the year just break down my like top 10 favorite palettes that are all from different brands. Like I won't like repeat a whole lot just because I'll have tried so many at that point. So I'll probably have to share like my favorite Ensley Reign, my favorite Beaute Bar, like stuff like that, just depending on where they fall on my ranking list. Cause at that time of year, I'll also have like a full ranking my palettes from all of 2024. So yeah, I just wanna hear your thoughts. Do you have any of the same favorites as me? What about my least favorites? Are they things you also dislike? Or are they things that actually are your favorite? Because we all have different preferences and that's okay. Like some of the things in my favorites might be your least favorites and we all have different preferences. We all have different skin types. We all have different ways of applying makeup and things that we want out of our makeup. But I am curious about what you think of any of the things I talked about today. If you made it to the end of this video, why don't you leave your favorites and least favorite emoji. I feel like that fits the theme. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm BATTYBEAN there as well. And also you can subscribe. I'm posting most days over here. And if you wanna, you can join my channel memberships. The link to sign up will be down below. You'll get fun little perks, including a members only video once a month. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.